Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll hear from the Prairie Center Arts Foundation, then we'll catch up with the Spring Valley Nature Center, and we'll close out the program with a look at this year's Screen Test Student Fest. All of this today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The Prairie Center Arts Foundation was founded in 1990 as a means to enrich the cultural arts by providing financial support for the Prairie Center for the Arts. With us today to talk about their upcoming Come Wine With Me, a fundraising event, is Executive Director Lucinda Floden. Nice to have you here, Lucinda.
Well, thank you. Nice to be here.
Tell me about this Wine With Me thing. This sounds like fun.
Oh, I think it will be fun. It's a wine tasting event, and it's going to be here at the Prairie Center, and there'll be both wine and beer. So it'll be some microbreweries and a bunch of wines, about 50 different selections.
Where's it coming from? What the beer or the wine? I mean,
lots of different places. I mean,
obviously you're not going to Jewel and buying it.
No. We'll be working with distributors, with wineries, with microbrewers, brewers.
You're gonna have Linford Winery?
I hope so. I mean, we are sincerely hoping to have Linford. I don't know that for sure yet.
Okay. Where did the idea come from? Where did you get this?
Well, the idea actually came from one of my board members, Sue Resmer-Sosha, who is a wine aficionado, and she brought the idea to the board because she said, these are such popular and wonderful events, and people love them, and people like wine.
Well, when is it? Where is it?
It's going to be, when is it? Is going to be April 5th. Where is it? It's going to be here at the Prairie Center for the Arts from 7 to 10. And
tickets
are on sale now. You can get them at www.prairiecenter.org.
What's your favorite wine?
My personal favorite wine?
Oh, sure, yes.
Okay. Well, I kind of like, what's the name of it? Echo Domini.
I've had that, yes.
Yes, it's a Pinot Grigio, and I like it a whole lot.
It's very nice.
And actually, it's one of the wines that we offer here just at regular programs.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Is there a Riesling you're going to have too?
Yes, there will be all kinds of wines. I don't know exactly which ones yet because we're still waiting for people to send us, the lists of stuff. There's going to be an opportunity to be able to purchase wine if people want to, but it's certainly not required. I mean, the fun is to come and just taste a lot of different wines, visit with people. There'll be 5 different food vendors. And
now, if someone wants tickets to this Baccalian event,
they could either go online to www.prairiecenter.org, or they could call the box office at 847-895-3600.
Now, tell me about the foundation. How did it get started, and how many people do you have, active members? I mean, tell me about that.
Well, ours is a volunteer board comprised of community leaders and people within the community that care deeply about the arts. And the organization was founded in 1990. And the reason that we exist, of course, is to be able to raise money for the Prairie Center for the Arts.
How much money have you raised?
Oh, over 20 years.
Well, like last year, how much did you raise?
I think our donation was $100 and some $1,000. Wow. Yeah, not enough. We need to raise more.
That's really significant. It really is.
Yeah, well, we try.
How long have you been head of the foundation?
I've been here for 17 plus years.
17 plus years.
So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to remember all of that. But everyone who's on the board and everybody because the volunteers, we also have a volunteers group, about 50 people that help out at events and help out at performances, and that's all part of the foundation.
Now, if somebody wanted to get involved and
they should call me on the phone.
Okay, all right.
And I would love to talk to anybody who wants to get involved. Or if they want to be a donor, if they want to hear about the programs.
I mean, you actually take money.
We actually take money. We're good that way.
Well, it sounds like a good time. It really does.
One of the ways that we like to be able to create art to raise money, not just send someone an envelope and say, "Hey, send us a few bucks."
Is this the art of wine drinking? Is that what you're saying?
This is the art of wine. Actually, we have 2 big fundraising events within a week of each other. So there's a little something for everybody.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me.
Well, the 29th, we're having
of April.
Of March.
Of March, okay.
We actually have an event called Art for Life.
Okay.
And it's a benefit performance. It's a concert. And it's going to have, it has 3 different groups that are performing that are very different than each other. We have a pipe and drum corps, which is, how often do you get to see that? Called the Royal Airs.
That's on stage, right?
Yes, and they're now based in Hoffman. They're going to be here. And a wonderful guitarist, Dave Byron, who's just, what a phenomenal guitarist.
You've heard him before?
I have heard him before.
Where?
Actually, I heard him online. Because when we started doing this event, it was like, now who is he and what does he do? And I just could hardly leave the website. He's fabulous. And then we have a rock group called Jack Tripper.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. And
just drop the T and you're all set, right?
Yes. And he does a lot of cover and original stuff too. They do a lot of, so it's real different performances. You've got kind of classical and interesting guitar, and then you've got classic rock, and then you've got pipe and drum corps.
And what time is that event?
That event's at 8 o'clock at regular go to the theater time on the 29th. And that event, the tickets are $20 unless you wait until the last minute.
And then it's 25.
And then it's 25.
Yeah.
But and all of that money will come to the foundation, and through the foundation will go directly to the Prairie Center. I mean, none of it will be, all of it will be a donation.
How many active members do you have on your board?
12.
12, okay. And they're local folks or from?
Local folks, and we are always interested and looking for more people to be involved with us and people to be involved in our board.
And what's your favorite beer?
I'm not a beer drinker, so I'm not, but I'm kind of not.
I'm assuming you're going to have craft beer.
Yeah, well, and I'm 98% sure that RAM will be here, since they're the only microbrewery in Schaumburg.
For now, yeah.
But also Chicago beer will be here.
Okay.
And
they will bring their craft beers here.
They will bring, yes, they'll be bringing all that with them, and then
what does a glass of wine cost?
Well, like a dozen tastings are part of your ticket price.
Okay.
The thing that's not included in the admission price is food. So.
It's not? Food is not?
No.
People have nothing to eat, they have to buy?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
we kind of patterned it off of. There's been a lot of wine tasting events in the area, and so since this is our first wine tasting, we of course looked out to what other people are doing, and that seems to be the way it's being done in this area. So we're going to try and follow suit.
Sounds like a good time.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's important.
I think the concert's going to be fun, and all of this, I mean, is to really raise money for the arts, and particularly for us to raise money for youth in the arts.
Lucinda, thanks for stopping by.
You were very welcome. A pleasure.
Spring Valley Nature Center is offering a sweet look at all things maple. Find out more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Every season, the Spring Valley Nature Center's 135 acres are home to events and programs for people of all ages. This month, they invite you to fill up on flapjacks at their annual celebration of nature's sweetest gifts. Here to tell us more about the Sugar Bush Fair is Manager of Conservation Services of the Schaumburg Park District, Dave Brooks. Dave, tell us what the manager does for the Park District in Spring Valley.
I get to do a little bit of everything over there. So we have a staff of about 11 at the Nature Center, which includes the farm, and I just oversee the overall operations, help plan the budget, make sure that everyone is moving in the right direction. We're all moving in the same direction. And
you got this great event coming up, Sugar Bush.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, this is a milestone year for us because this is our 30th annual Sugar Bush. It's one of our longest running events. And I always like to tell the story about how it got started because back before I was there, when Annette Rossi, she was the first manager out there, and she started the whole concept of a maple syrup event, which she had done at one of her previous places she worked. In 1984, she just had a little pancake supper with the volunteers, and she decided that it was then ready to become a public event. So 1985, and I was there then. I was there as a volunteer. We prepared pancakes and sausage in the kitchen of the Merkel cabin, which is a very small building for those who have been down there before. And then people came inside and they sat at tables inside the cabin, and I don't even know what the total attendance was. It must have been a few hundred, but it was a cold day and people were tired of waiting out in the cold to go in and eat their warm pancakes. But lo and behold, the event has been around for 30 years, and now we have a big tent and probably serve over 1,500 breakfasts over 2 days there. So
you had President Bush there, the first President Bush there at the
George H. Bush was there just before he was president, when he was on the campaign trail as vice president.
Bush at Sugar Bush, you know.
It's
kind of a nice line I always use, I'm sure.
That was our one brush with a celebrity at that event. So
so Sugar Bush, then you have an Autumn Fest in the fall. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, the Autumn Fest is our other big event. That's in October, and then we have a whole series of small to medium-sized events and programs that we offer, of course, for the public throughout the year. And actually, one I'd like to mention real quickly, if I could,
Go ahead.
just because it follows on the heels of Sugar Bush Fair, and that's what's called the Sunset Fire and Picnic on the Prairie, and it's Saturday, April 5th. And it's an opportunity for people to come out and learn about fire, about prairie fire, and why controlled burns are conducted in natural areas in this day and age. We use it to manage the prairie, but they get to see a fire that our trained staff will light at sunset, so they can come out for a picnic ahead of time and then sit back and enjoy the fire.
Now, you conduct walks there too, don't you?
Oh, throughout the year, yeah. I mean, our program staff is busy with programs for school groups, for families, for adults throughout the year. So
you still have coyotes on the property?
We did see coyotes over this past winter, the last few months. I'm sure the extended cold snap might have been hard on a few of them, probably on a lot of the wildlife. The winter we've had can challenge them in lots of ways in terms of finding food and keeping warm. But
now, there's a story about fire trucks sounding off their sound, their sirens, and the coyotes pick up on that.
They will sometimes call back. They'll howl back to the fire trucks or the ambulances when they go by. So.
Have you experienced that?
I have, not recently, but almost any time of the year. I don't think it really matters what time of year it is. If you're out there especially in the evening, they tend to be more prone to break into song during the evening. But you hear the sirens of trucks going by, of emergency vehicles, and they'll
Is there a great horned owl? Is there a pair of those?
There have been, yeah. We've been hearing great horned owls out there on a regular basis. Late afternoon, dusk, down by the
calling, just hooting, and
Yep, you can always, one's a little higher pitched than the other. That's how you can tell one's a male and one's a female.
I heard one back in Oak Hollow a month or so ago. It was real late at night, and I heard this sound. I thought, what's that? And I realized it was an owl back in the woods calling.
Great, yeah. They're probably more common in the suburbs than a lot of people think, but they're definitely.
Now Sugar Bush, you actually tap maple syrup from maple trees, right?
Yes, yeah. We do it not on a large scale, but just for demonstration purposes. We'll normally, in a given year, tap anywhere between 8 to 12 trees. And then we do gather that sap and boil it down to maple syrup, just so we can show people how it's done. So,
how much is it? What's the admission cost to come to this event?
It's free to come to the event. There's no admission to come to the Sugar Bush Fair. But if you want the pancake breakfast, which is the big draw, which of course most people, 95% of the attendees are there for the breakfast. It is if you purchase tickets ahead of time, $350 or $450, depending on whether you're getting a half stack or a full stack. And then if you buy your tickets the day of, on that Saturday, March 15th or 16th, they're $4 or $5. So
okay, and what time does this start? What time does it end?
It starts at 9 a.m. on both those days, and it's breakfast. We stop serving at noon.
You get pretty good crowds out there, don't you?
Yeah, and we do get sponsorship for this from Whole Foods Market. So Whole Foods has been a great help with providing all the food for the breakfast, and it's. I always tell people it's the best pancake breakfast around. Not to take anything away from the local restaurants, but I think ours is better. Sorry.
Now, you had Whole Foods donates that, you said? Or?
Yes, yeah, they donate all the food, the pancake batter, the pure maple syrup.
And you've had a major donation from IKEA too, haven't you?
We have, yeah. A few years back, I don't know how many years ago it was now, they actually donated a complete kitchen for the Nature Center because our kitchen was in need of a renovation. So
and you're renovating the observation area now, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. We started that last year, putting in some new exhibits, some natural history exhibits there, and we're finishing up that with during the coming months with redoing the solarium, the greenhouse area there, where we have a lot of people know it as the turtle pond because we have a little pond down there with turtles.
You're gonna keep the turtles there?
The turtles, yeah. They're taking a vacation right now during renovation, but they'll be
Where
back.
are they? In your bathtub at home? Or?
Thought about that. No, we are right next door at our maintenance facility. We have a greenhouse there, so they've set up some little pools for the turtles in there.
And what kind of turtles are they? Painted?
They're red-eared sliders and painted turtles.
Okay,
so.
all right.
And then following the renovation of the greenhouse area, then we'll be getting the second phase of new exhibits in the fall. So it'll be we're very excited about that because we've had this concept plan for several years now, and to actually see it come to fruit is
you have a library there too, and the libraries, I think the Spring Valley Nature Club contributed a lot of
the Spring Valley Nature
Club of books that
was pretty instrumental in helping to establish that both in the early days, and there's somebody from the Nature Club that continues to maintain the library for us too, to make sure.
Well, Barbara Docterman is retiring.
Yes, yeah. Barbara Docterman did it for 35 years, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And she did just retire, so we're trying to get a new person trained.
How many miles of trails do you have in Spring Valley?
There's over 3 miles if you walk all of them. Some are hard surface paved trails, some are just wood chipped, and
you have a working farm site, don't you?
Yes, yeah. There's a working farm there. It's a recreation of what would have been a typical Schaumburg Township German-American farm. So there's draft horses, cattle, hogs, chickens running around there. Right now there's no hogs. The hogs will be coming back by the end of March. They should be back out there. So.
What if somebody needed tickets? Who would they contact? Who would they call?
If they want tickets for the pancake breakfast, they can purchase them now until the day of the event at the Nature Center. That's actually the only place you can get them. And then, of course, the day of the event, you can buy them at the door. So you would just come to the event, and we have a ticket booth right outside the breakfast tent. So. And
bring your appetite besides your ticket, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Fine. Dave, thanks for the information.
Sure, yeah, you're welcome.
That should be great. Those pancakes, yeah.
They're you can't be missed. We get families that come both days. They come both Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, thanks.
Sure, you're welcome.
It's time once again to roll out the red carpet for the area's finest young filmmakers. Find out more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. This month, the Prairie Center will once again host the area's most talented young filmmakers as they showcase their work at the Screen Test Student Fest. Here to tell us what we can expect this year is event coordinator Rob Palekis. Rob, tell us about this film making that's going on with these young people.
Well, the young people are making a lot of films these days. We have our Student Film Festival, which we've talked about, was inspired by a letter that was sent to our then village manager, Ken Fritz, that is saying that Schaumburg, being a festive town, should have its own film festival. And,
that was Jay Flynn.
That was Jay Flynn who helps coordinate the festival with me now, and we thought, well, let's give it a shot, and it became an instant hit. So 8 years later, we're still doing this.
What was the age range, and what
Sure, the festival is open to students from grades 5 through 12. So elementary and high school students can participate. They can submit their films. They're for short films, 10 minutes or less. So this is a short film festival, and we've gotten a ton of a variety of different films, including animation, experimental, some documentaries, some really in-depth documentaries, which is kind of novel.
How many young people come out for this? How many?
We get up to and over 40 submissions a year. Now we only have room for about 12 to 13, 13 tops. So it gets competitive. Not everyone gets into the festival, so you have to have a pretty good film to get in. And we get a couple hundred people who come to the festival every year, at least that many. And we've got guest hosts and
you have celebrity judges too, don't you?
We have celebrity judges. We've had Dan Geyer with the Daily Herald was a guest host and critic for us, and he was also a judge. And we also have other professionals in the community.
How long does it take to put one of these things together? Not the fest, but the individual submissions.
The submissions, you know, you get a wide variety of answers. You know, some kids have been working on them for weeks or months. Some kids make them over the weekend. You know, you never know. You know, you have to ask them. They'll tell you some interesting, surprising answers. You know, some kids do it, like I said, you know, in a few days, and they look like they might have worked all year on it. And a lot of these are actually school projects too, or classroom projects. So they might have been
kids coming back again.
It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes we do have real talented students who submit and come back. We've had two or three times, I think was probably the most we've had, one student come back.
When does this take place?
Right here at the Prairie Center. It's at the end of April, on April 25th and 26th. And it's just a great time. It's a great festival.
We do things beyond just to screen test.
You know, the Prairie Center is, we're very proud of the youth programs that we have here. And we have just formed a new youth choir, the Schaumburg Youth Choir, which is really exciting for us. We have, of course, the youth orchestra, and we've always wanted to have someone, a singing group to perform.
Yeah, tryouts, right, didn't you?
And we had tryouts back in January. And we've got 15 students in it now, and I think that number is going to grow quite a bit. So,
what's your goal in terms of numbers of?
You know, we'd love to see 60, 70 people in the choir. So we're starting kind of small, but it's still a very strong group. It's also going to be a very, I think, a challenging group to be in. You know, it's not everyone is accepted. Only about half the people who auditioned got into the choir. So Michael Van Camp, the director, has some pretty strong. Credentials that he needs the students to fill before they can get into the choir.
So they're going to be singing in conjunction with the youth orchestra.
Yep, they will be singing with the youth orchestra. We hope to have them debut this summer when the youth orchestra plays its 25th anniversary concert at Symphony Center downtown, and then we hope to have them join the orchestra again when they do their holiday Presto holiday.
25
concert.
Years.
25 years, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's going to be great, with especially.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic, and the youth orchestra, as you know, Joseph Malmquist, the director of that group, has been running it since it started back in '89.
How many young people are involved in that?
We've got about close to 200 people in that program. There are 4 orchestras, so Joe's only one of the directors of the program. And then we have a chamber ensemble program that adds about 30 to 40 more kids on there. So it's. You know, we're really proud to have, you know, a youth orchestra that's sponsored by a municipality. You know, that's not very common at all.
No, they're playing at Symphony Center, but it's not just the existing youth orchestra.
It's not just the existing youth orchestra. They're going to be playing, this is going to be on June 27th. They're going to do a couple pieces with the existing orchestra, and then we're going to go back and get alumni who've played with the group for the past 25 years. So they're going to get up on stage, probably up to 100, 110 musicians on stage for, so, and they're going to perform 1812 Overture, which we're all...
Yeah.
So if you want to do the canon, you'd be more than happy to.
I'd love to do the canon. I'd love to do the canon. I'd like to do the, you know, boom, boom.
A lot of authority comes with that.
There was an emperor named Napoleon, right?
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, that's it. That's...
Well, we're hoping that you might be at the performance to say a few words.
Oh, God. You won't let me sing?
We'll see what happens. We'll talk about that later on off camera.
You've been doing this 25 years too.
It'll be 25 years for me as well with this program.
Okay,
so.
What else do you do now? You've got the choir, you've got the orchestra, you've got the film.
Well, you know, it's youth programs are a big part of my job. So we have that. We have a summer theater program, which we'll be announcing our musical for the summer.
With a new stage too, right?
With the new stage. Oh, we have the new outdoor stage. We have an outdoor stage. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's going to be part of our Summer Breeze series. So there's going to be a lot going on there. Beautiful, new, completely rebuilt from ground up. It's going to be fantastic.
And what's the show going to be?
So,
or can't you tell?
You know.
Oh, come on, you can tell. Just between you and me, what is it going to be?
It's the title's got it. I don't know what the show's going to be yet. If I make something up,
what's in contention anyway?
You tell me what you'd like to see.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's interesting.
West Side Story?
Brigadoon.
Brigadoon? That's a nice show.
That's a beautiful show.
It's a nice show.
You know, if you could only get Sid Charisse to come back, you know.
I'll wear my kilt, my ceremonial kilt for the show.
Then maybe we shouldn't be doing that.
Perhaps not. And people would have to, yes, hide their eyes from the glare of my legs in the light.
What is the longest film that you've seen that these kids have created for that?
We've done, well, we used to have...
Oh, you say you got 10 minutes.
10 minutes or less, and
yeah.
some people push that. It's amazing what, you know, we've had films that are 30 seconds long that have gotten it, which is, you know, these are short blasts. Oh, here's a great thing I can tell you about this year's Screen Test Student Fest. We have a new category called Flicks in 6. It allows students to submit a 6-second movie into the festival.
Oh, wow.
And this was inspired by Vine, which is a very popular social media site now where people upload 6-second films because it's amazing. You can tell an actual story in 6 seconds. So we're calling out to the kids to ask them, what can you do in 6 seconds? And we're looking forward to see what they send us.
What do you anticipate response to that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But you know, you got kids are on YouTube all the time, and they're making things. Their phones are cameras, are video cameras now, and they use them all the time. So I think you're going to get a lot of interesting things.
Okay, keep Brigadoon in mind.
Brigadoon. Brigadoon.
Yes, yes.
It's a pretty song.
It's beautiful.
It's a very pretty show. It's a very lovely show.
Yeah.
We've done that. We did that in 2001, so it was about 13 years ago.
No, I thought about Damn Yankees, but you've done that.
Done that twice already. Yeah, I know some people who wanted to do it again because it's a fun show. But you know, always looking for something new. You know, we did Pirates of Penzance a few years ago. That was a blast. So Gilbert and Sullivan is always a favorite.
Now there's an admission cost, I suspect, to some of these events.
There is actually for a screen test to apply. It's $10. You can do it online now. Just go to screenteststudentfest.org and you can look into it. The youth choir, if you're interested in joining, we're having auditions in the spring in May. Okay. Go to SchaumburgYouthChoir.org. We make this easy for everyone. Okay. And then the Schaumburg Youth Orchestra is SchaumburgYouthOrchestra.org.
And Symphony Center?
Symphony Center, June 27th. If you want to support it, you can join our C Notes for the Symphony campaign.
C Notes.
C Notes for the Symphony.
That's $100.
It's $100 that gets, you know your
whatever
gambling term, isn't it? So
I'm not
maybe
sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
So
that's from Guys and Dolls.
Is it Guys and Dolls?
Yeah.
But see, yeah, people for $100 you get acknowledgement in the program, and you get invited to this great reception afterwards, which we're going to hold at Berghoff Cafe.
That sounds like
the classic restaurant.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Rob,
so,
once again,
thanks for having me.
Thanks for stopping by.
Always great to be here.
This will do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us again next month for an all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.